Hi guys, this is Ranjit and welcome to the Tech Q&A session for October. And I've got a bunch of questions that I got from Twitter. So questions ranging from typical smartphones to computers to the new M1 chip laptops launched by Apple, Pixels, etc. Variety of questions. So let's get on with the same. So let's start with the first question. And this is a Pixel 6 related question. This is by Hrithikesh Kamanth. He's asking, what's your take on the Pixel 6 and the Pro not coming to India? Yes, sadly, it's not coming. It's a phone I've been waiting for long, especially since I've owned the Nexus 5 and the Pixel 2X earlier. Yes, Hrithikesh, yes, I'm also a little bit saddened to see that the Pixel series 6, the 6 Pro, oh my god, let me just mute this tablet, guys. Oh god. Let me just disable Wi-Fi for some time. Yes, it's not launching in India, and I'm saddened by that, guys. But yeah, I think so. It's the problem. Google, as you know, had released earlier Pixel smartphones in India. The problem with Pixel smartphones is that we as techies and tech enthusiasts, which is a very, very small percentage of the overall population, less 1 or 2%, we are the only people who look forward to Pixel. But other people simply did not buy Pixel devices. But the considerably expensive smartphones in India, and Google did not sell them in enough volumes. And I think so that's the reason they are not launching the 6 and the 6 Pro. Again, the 6 and the 6 Pro, even if it comes to India, the Pro was what, $900 some dollars. Multiply by 100, it would have been about 95,000. I think so that's the reason Google is not launching it in India. I'm also saddened because I'm actually looking forward to the Pixel 6 series phones, because Google again using their custom chip we need to know how it is doing the image processing and stuff. They are doing again that computation photography and stuff. So I'm also very curious about it. Let's see. I can't promise, guys, but I'll try to get it if somebody is coming from US or something like that. Anyways, let's move to the next one. This is by Jagdish. Since nowadays both Android phones and Windows PC have inbuilt antivirus built in, is it necessary to install third-party softwares like Norton, Kaspersky on both? I googled about this and majority say that it should be installed as it improves security further. Okay, Jagdish, let me give you an idea about myself, what I'm doing. I have a bunch of Windows PC, even Macs and stuff like that. And yes, you have even antivirus for Macs. Also, of course, for Windows, we have like Norton, Kaspersky, etc. Personally, I do not install third-party antiviruses even on my Windows computer. In fact, I have a gaming laptop. The reason for that is the built-in antivirus that comes with Windows is pretty good. Unless you're using pirated software or something, hanky-panky doing stuff like that, you should not be worried. I don't download any pirated software. Everything is legal. That's why I didn't have any need to install antivirus. But if you're using that torrenting, using pirated software, then it can be very, very risky. I run on Windows a Malwarebytes, the free version of it, and I just run it once 15 days to see if anything is there. But the built-in antivirus on Windows has also become very, very good. It's not like of what problem we had about 10 years ago. Without the antivirus, Windows computers used to get virus like that. That's not an issue. So unless if you're using safe practices and only using legal software, don't do hanky-panky stuff with your computer, I think so you can get away. Personally, I have a Windows machine and even a Windows laptop for several years. Even my daughter actually, she actually uses a Windows. For some reason, she does not like a Mac. I even gave her a Macbook Pro, but she likes Windows. And on her computer also, I haven't installed any third-party antivirus, and still it's working fine. Anyways, moving to the next question. This is by Sahil. Why doesn't Samsung build its own OS instead of using Android, like how Apple has its own OS, as this will help them optimize apps for the entire ecosystem? Sahil, yes, theoretically it sounds very cool to build your own OS and stuff. In fact, Samsung already did this earlier and it failed miserably. That's known as Tizen. They did try Tizen. Earlier, they tried it for some smartphones, also feature phones. It did not work. They tried it for smartwatches, also that failed. So yes, in theory, it looks very cool. But developers need to adopt to the, OS, what you're doing. And that simply is very, very, very difficult. Even Microsoft could not pull it off. That's why Microsoft, what is that? I'm even forgetting the mobile OS that they have. They shut it down. So developers will simply not migrate, and if developers don't migrate to a new operating system, is as good as dead. Because these days, what does your smartphone do? Unless you have your favorite apps on it, what's the use of that? So developers won't move. Theoretically, it looks good. Samsung did try that with Tizen and it failed, and they have abandoned that project even for smart watches. In fact, if you see my review of the Samsung Galaxy Watch, the latest one is running on Google Wear OS, and I didn't like the battery life on this. When it was on Tizen, it used to get very good battery life. Anyways, let's move to the next one. This is by Bishal. What are your thoughts on the new M1 chipsets and the insane MacBook pricing in India? MacBook Pro pricing in India. Apple has already gone leaps ahead of Intel and AMD. Will the difference widen in coming years? And your thoughts on when can Windows laptop below 1 lakh can ever catch on the MacBook Air? Yes, the new MacBook Pro series were announced by Apple, 14 and 16 inches. So they have the M1 Pro chip and M1 Max chip. These are really, really good chips, I would say. But again, the pricing in India is significantly higher, like what we have with the iPhones, also the Pro series. And that's the reason. Because of that is Apple just imports these laptops. They don't manufacture it here in India. So of course we have that 18% or whatever on computers, I don't recall, 28% GST plus import tax. That's why the pricing in India is just insane. That's the Apple tax you have to pay. Even the older MacBook Pro higher end series were pretty expensive, because I have one of the 2018 edition, and at that time in 2018 or 2017, I don't recall, I had to pay 2,06,000, and it was not the cutting edge. So yes, it's MacBook Pros always have been expensive. So that's the same case with this one. But I would say not everyone requires that much of power. Personally, I'm using the MacBook Air M1. This is the M1 chip, and for most of the stuff, even 4K video editing, some of the videos I edit on this one, I don't have a problem. So yes, these are pretty good, except for gamings. People crib about this thing. If you are a gamer, do a lot of gaming on a laptop or computer, don't get a Mac. That way, Windows laptop gaming laptops are better, because Mac is simply not that great in terms of gaming. And in fact, the native selection of games also on the Mac is way less compared to what we find on Windows. So if gaming is a criteria, stick with Windows laptops and computers. Okay, let's move to the next one. This is by Namish. What are your thoughts on the latest MacBook Pro 14 and 16 inches from Apple? Now, does the 13-inch MacBook Pro make sense after this launch? And for general public users, which Mac will you prefer? For most of the people, I would still say the MacBook Air M1 is the best bet you can get, because the pricing of this one, even in India, is very, very good. The amount of performance that you're getting for the price that you're paying is the highest as of now for an Apple product, guys. That's never the case with Apple. You have seen with the new laptop, new 14 and 16 inches, how expensive they can go. Even the base variant of 14 starts at 1,94,000, but if you spec it up decently, it goes up to 2,30,000 or something like that, and 16 is less. The one I tried to configure it was going above 3 lakh something. So they're very expensive. And by the way, the MacBook 13 Pro never made sense to me, and still it does not make sense. So if you're looking for the MacBook Pro 13 inches Pro, don't get that. Get the Air. The Air is just better value and better device, I would say. So I would, if I'm looking for a MacBook Pro, I will skip the 13 inches, directly go to the 14 inches. But again, you have to evaluate, do you need that much power, and you're willing to pay that much price? Else, the MacBook Air M1 still is really, really good. It's been locked, 7 or 8 months since I've been using it. No slowdown, no nothing. The battery life has fallen down a little bit by 1.5 hours in my usage. But apart from that, still a champ of a machine, guys. And you guys know I get access to so many laptops. I have a bunch of laptops lying there, Windows laptop, way more expensive than this one, but still I come back to this one because of the just works and the performance. Again, I don't do gaming. If you do gaming, it's a different aspect. Anyways, this is by Mr. Ghosh. Different phone manufacturers are slowly starting to use their own manufacturing chips. How do you see that? And will it do any harm to Qualcomm? I'm not bothered about Qualcomm, what they do or what not. Why should we worry? But Qualcomm will go nowhere, because see, these chips, what these manufacturers are making, these only the very big ones are doing. Apple is doing now, Google has started doing it, Samsung might do it, they are very big. But this will be restricted to very, very big players, and they will customize it a little bit based on what kind of performance they want. But other OEMs, general OEMs, will simply not do that. So they will rely on MediaTek and Qualcomm. So the MediaTek and the Qualcomms will not go anywhere. But I feel this is a good thing, because This gives a lot more competition to Qualcomm and MediaTek to improve their chipsets, move forward. So I feel in the long run, this will be better. But we will have, what do you say, customized chipsets from maybe Google using in their Pixel smartphones. Apple again uses of course, their own A series of Bionic chips. Maybe Samsung might also jump in. We're doing something special, but general it won't be like that. Every OEM will do that because it's very cost prohibitive to just manufacture your own SoCs. This is by Kishan. Please pick this question. It'll be needed by many students. Okay, this is a laptop related questions. Best laptop around 50,000, good for video editing as thoughts of opening a YouTube channel, graphic design, want to learn, good productivity wise, good speaker, processor, maybe Ryzen 5500U and something which can last long. Okay, the Ryzen 5500U is a very good processor. You can definitely, I've seen some laptops around the 50,000 to about 55,000 price point with the Ryzen 5500U. It's a beast of a processor. The processing powers is really, really good on this one. So you have a lot of options. I think so some with the ASUS, some with Lenovo, etc. are there with this processor. Very good processor. The only thing that you should look at when you're buying a laptop in this price range is the quality of the screen. Because that's where some of the manufacturers cut down stuff. For example, the screen might simply be not that bright. I've seen some laptops that have just 250 nits of brightness. That's good enough in indoor conditions. But if you take outside, it would be hardly visible even at max brightness. So that is one thing there. Also, color shifting might be there. For example, if you move the screen like this, the colors will shift or the screen is not visible. So look at some of these things. And also the second thing is the build quality. These are the two things that they compromise on in this price range. So again, you have to see, because some brands with some models make an exception product. That is okay. So in this, you can't get everything great. And speakers will be average, guys. Because generally in Windows, I've seen some of the higher end ones only give good speakers. But certainly, you can go with this processor. It's a very powerful processor, will easily do video editing and stuff. If you're looking for Intel, at this price point, you will not get the Core i7. You can get the Core i5. The 11th generation, you can get it. That is also a decent processor. But in raw horsepower, I would say the Ryzen 5500U will beat it. This is by, Vinod. You mentioned about charging a phone overnight with a 10-watt charger. Gives you more battery life than charging the phone with a fast charger. So, is this why Samsung is not providing fast chargers in the flagship phones? Okay, you get me wrong. Yes, Samsung is notorious. They don't give fast. They give fast charging in their higher end phones. They give 25-watt charging in the higher end phones. But in many of the mid-range phones, they omitted and they're still giving 15-watt. See, yes, if you're charging your phone overnight, even with a 10-watt charger, if you charge it, it's actually good for the battery life in the long run. Regularly using fast chargers, yes, it's good to use fast chargers when you are in a hurry. I also use fast chargers sometimes, but I don't want a manufacturer to skip fast charging. Because let's say I'm in a hurry, the fast charger will help me. I can always slow charge a phone that supports fast charging. But let's say a phone does not support fast charging, I cannot fast charge it even by plugging in a heavy charger or something like that. So manufacturers, after a certain price point, they should provide fast charging. I would say, I'm not looking at 55, 60 watt fast charging like that, but a decent figure of around 30-watt fast charging, like what Motorola is doing with some of the new Edge series phones, is good enough, I would say. So Samsung needs to actually provide. Calling a 15-watt charging as fast charging is ridiculous, yes. That's what Samsung claims in many of the mid-range phones. They say fast charging, but it's 15-watt charging. Is 15-watt fast charging? No. Anyways, let's move to the next one. This is by Satwik. The stock Android experience is very underrated by Indians in general. Yes, I agree. Except Motorola, almost no OEM offers this. Also, people mostly look at the specs and not overall experience of the smartphone while buying. I think this has to change. Your thoughts? Yes, definitely this has to change. And people don't realize, for example, as you have told, Motorola is the only OEM right now in India, apart from Google Pixel phones. Google does not launch Pixel phones in India. That has stock Android without a lot of bloatware. And the thing is that many OEMs are not doing this because by adding bloatware, they get money. For every app that is pre-installed on the smartphone, these OEMs earns millions and millions of rupees. Guys, trust me, they bundle. That's why in some smartphones you will see like 10 apps pre-installed, 15 apps pre-installed. They get money by these app builders for bloating up that stuff. And again, you also have some stuff that are baked in. It's very difficult to uninstall. So if an OEM is going with a stock pure experience like what Motorola is doing, you don't get that money. And India is a very cost, conscious market. For example, some of the new Motorola phones, Edge series, are very good. But if you compare it with some of the Realme smartphones with the same chipset, the Realme smartphones were costing about roughly about 2,000-3,000 rupees less. And the reason for that is that Motorola did not add that bloatware or stuff like that. So that cost difference was there. So in India, people don't look at the user experience, but they just look at the price and the specs. And sadly, this has to change. Many people don't realize that the amount of bloatware that is being added, the privacy concerns. Just recently, I was just reading this yesterday or day before yesterday. Indian government is now getting really serious and have sent notices to Chinese smartphone OEMs. For example, they have sent it to Xiaomi, they have sent it to OnePlus, and Oppo, and even Vivo. Because I think so now the Indian government is also fed up with the kind of stuff that is happening. So I hope people think about that, the software and experience what they are having with the smartphone. But in India, many people just look at the price and the specs. The experience that will have with the smartphone, hardly they take that into account. Anyways, let's move to the next one. This is again a Pixel related phone by Akhil. Google confirmed that the Pixel series won't launch in India. According to you, is this a great loss for Google in Indian market? Okay, I have answered this question, but let me answer this because I've got similar questions from quite a few of you. Okay, the reason Google didn't launch the Pixel 6 series in India is pure business, guys. The past Pixel series, they got launched in India, but the volumes were so low, just couple of thousand units, it simply did not make sense. That's why Google simply does not have even a after sales service or repair center for Pixel smartphones in India. Because the volume is so low, they are just importing it. And if you just import the phones, you not only pay, the GST, whatever, extra 18% or whatever, but you also pay a heavy import tax. So the price increases by crazy. And at that price point, very, very few people will pay. You and me, people like, how many are there? Okay, hardly 1%, less than 1% of the people know what is a Pixel smartphone. Other people seeing a price of about, let's say the Pixel 9 Pro, they launched it at 95,000 because of the extra duties and the GST. It would have come to that price point in India. How many people would have bought it? Would you have bought the Pixel 6 Pro at about 90 or 95,000 in India? I doubt. An average Joe might go for an iPhone or a Samsung flagship at that price point. Okay, that's the fact. And that's the reason I think so they didn't launch the Pixel 6 series in India. I get it from the point of view of Google, what they are doing. But I'm a little bit annoyed with the Pixel A series also this year that they did not launch in India. The A series could have been priced decently in India. So I don't know what is wrong with Google. I understand with the 6 and the 6 Pro, these are premium products, so the pricing will go very high. But the A series also was not launched. So I'm a little bit disappointed with that. I'm still looking forward to the Pixel 6 Pro. Let me see if I can get it. If my friend or someone is traveling from US, let's see that. Anyways, this is by Ganesh. This is a very interesting question. If you want to pick a phone among the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra, Pixel 6 Pro, and the iPhone 13 Pro, which one would you choose and why? Okay, Ganesh, I'm assuming you'll be buying it in India. So out of these three phones, the Galaxy S21 Ultra, I will not pick it up because the one that we get in India comes with the Exynos SoC, and I did not. The phone is good, but again, the battery life because of the Exynos SoC was not good, and also it had a slight tendency of heating up when you're really pushing it up. And when you buy these flagships to push the experience. So I would skip the Galaxy S21 Ultra. I haven't used this Pixel 6 Pro, but if it would have been available, I would have got it. But as of now, the only option left out of these three is the iPhone 13 Pro. which I've already purchased. I hope the Pixel 6, I wish the Pixel 6 Pro was officially available in India, guys. I'm also unhappy, but I get the point why Google did not launch it in India. Anyways, this is by Definite. Does buying these recently launched MacBooks with the M1 Pro and the Max worth it? Do you really need that much power to run daily tasks? Does it even utilize the power that Apple is claiming? Okay, if you are asking this question, then you do not need that much power. But for professionals, the more CPU power you give is better. For example, I do video editing and stuff. I have an iMac Pro that cost 4.5 lakhs that I purchased a couple of years ago. And it does the video editing fine, even multiple 4K stuff and all these things. Even this does fine. But at the time of exporting the video on something, let's say currently it takes 20 minutes to export the video. With these powerful Macs, if I can reduce that time to, let's say, half, then it's great. So it depends, okay? Do you really think that you will be using that much power? But if you are asking this kind of question, that means you simply do not need that much power. People who require this much power, they know that. And I think so those kind of people will be going for those M1 Max chips or stuff like that. It's not for normal users, guys. Regular users, again, I would say the M1 MacBook Air M1 is good enough. Okay, let's move to the next one. This is by Aditya. It's been a while since we heard about the hotspots that are provided by Airtel and Jio. Yes, I remember earlier they used to give the dongles or something like that with the hotspot. Will they be releasing new hotspots? Because I am in a hostel, so I need better data speeds. Please reply. Aditya, I doubt the Airtel and Jio will be releasing new hotspot devices. The reason for that is that most of the Android smartphones or iPhones, etc., have built-in hotspot facility, and they work very, very well. So having a separate device with a separate SIM simply does not make that much sense. That's why we have seen the Jio and Airtel earlier. They used to release hotspot devices, but now they are not doing it. I would say get an old second-hand smartphone, Android smartphone. You can get it for very, very cheap. Put in a SIM and use it as a hotspot, man. That's the easiest solution, I would say. But I doubt Airtel and Jio might launch dedicated new hotspot devices because the market is just too low for that, because these days most of the smartphones have that functionality built in. This is by Vinod. I want to purchase a Samsung tablet. Which one is better, the Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 FE LTE or the Galaxy Tab S7 Plus LTE FE? For around 42,000, or the S7 Plus around 65,000. Budget is not an issue. Please take my question. Okay, I can answer this question, Vinod, because I personally use this Samsung tablet. This is the Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 Plus. And the reason I use this tablet is because this one has an AMOLED screen. Man, the AMOLED screen on this one is just amazing. I even have an iPad Pro, but just because of the AMOLED screen, and I mostly use my tablet for media consumption, guys, because I have a computer for my regular work or stuff. This is there. This also has a pen, so sometimes I sign documents and stuff like that. But it's just because of the AMOLED screen. As you told, budget is not an issue with you, so go with the Tab S7 Plus. That AMOLED screen, you will love it for media consumption. It's just next level. I'm pretty sure Apple in the next generation of iPad Pro or whatever will add that AMOLED screen, because the difference is there. Stark difference is there. Anyways, moving to the next one. This is by Mohit. He says, I'm a student of commerce field and I want a laptop. So should I go for the MacBook or a Dell HP so that all Microsoft applications work properly, and also have a S21 Plus? Please tell me what can I do to increase its life for more than 2.5 years so the battery works fine. Okay, again, S21 Plus, you have a flagship. Don't use wireless charging, guys. Wireless charging is one thing that heats up your batteries like crazy. So avoid. Yes, you can use wireless charging once in a while, but for regular charging, don't use that. And also, the S21 Plus, I don't recall, but most of the Samsung phones also have an option. If you're charging it mostly at night, disable fast charging. Regular slow charging would be better. Okay, coming to the laptop thing, most of the, Microsoft applications will work fine with both the Macs, of course, Windows. This is M1 Mac and Office stuff, etc. For example, let me just Word, everything just works on this one, guys. No issues whatsoever. As you can see, I just opened Word. So the same license that I have for Windows, I have a 365 license, Office 365 works on this one and even on my Windows computer. So that compatibility of Microsoft apps is not an issue even on a Mac. So that way it's not an issue, guys. But again, check if there is some softwares that don't work on a Mac. For example, accounting softwares like Tally and stuff, those are designed only for Windows. So if you're using accounting softwares, offline accounting softwares like Tally, etc., then that will work only on Windows. They don't work on the Mac. But Microsoft applications and regular apps and stuff, no issues that I have noticed till date, guys. Been using Macs now for over, I migrated in 2009. Never had an issue. Anyways, this is last question, and this is a personal kind of a question. I'll just take it. This is by Mohit. Please make a bike vlog. I know you are passionate about it, so it's easy to describe, and your bike is awesome. Thank you, Mohit. If you guys don't follow me on Twitter, yes, I did purchase a bike. Finally, I used to love bikes. But after marriage, my wife was very angry with me because I used to ride bikes, so stopped it. So finally, after 18 years now, again purchased a bike. That's the Honda CB350 Highness. I've driven about 450 kilometers till now. Yes, I'll try to post initial impressions video, what I felt, raw thoughts. Mostly very, very good, but one or two niggling. Every product has great things and bad things. There also I've noticed, but overall, actually, very, very nice bike, I would say. I'll try to post a video about that one later on. Anyways, guys, that's it for now for this Tech Q&A session. And guys, if you're still not subscribed to the YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. This is Ranjit, and I hope to see you in my next video. Take care, guys.